Now let's talk about alternative versions of characters, shall we? We'll comment here on some alternative versions. Let's start with our beloved Princess Jujube, who in this new series of Adventure Time, he played a big part. Not a lot, but we may have seen a lot of it. If I'm not mistaken, there were 4 versions of Princess Jujube that we saw in Adventure Time with Fionna and Cake. Well, the first Princess Jujube we saw inside. I'm only going to comment on the versions we've seen of Princess Jujube. Only Fionna and Cake, okay? I'm not going to comment on Adventure Time. The first was in the second episode of Fionna and Cake, when Simon called Marcina to talk to her. He wanted to say that he wasn't well, that this was that, and so on. Only she wasn't listening. She and Princess Jujube were getting tattoos, only... Hi, excited focus. 3 people already. Is that right? Princess Jujube was getting a tattoo with Marceline. Only the tattoo didn't draw because she's sweet. And Marceline healed very quickly. And then we saw this first Princess Jujube, who is the one we know from Adventure Time, Bonnie, who at the end of Adventure Time stayed with Marceline, and they had quarreled and become a couple again. So they lived their lives together and so on. And now Princess Jujube is called Bonnie. We didn't call her Bonnie at first. That was the first Princess Jujube we saw, which is the one we knew. The second is not Princess Jujube, but Gary. Is it Gary? That's Gary. The male version of Princess Jujube, who is from the world of Fionna and Cake. Who is Gary, who is Prince Chiclet. That there were episodes in which they had appeared in Adventure Time. That Prince Bubblegum had his own kingdom. Like Princess Jujube, he had his commanders, his suites there in the palace. He was a prince. So much so that he had an interaction with Marshal Lee there when he was at the girl's house. And then Marshal Lee appeared on the roof and I'm going in. I'm not going to waste my time here, am I? Because he and Marshal Lee were really at each other's throats, you know? So Gary also appeared in this Fionna and Cake special. In this Fionna and Cake special, Gary works in a bakery. He works with sweets. It's not his bakery, okay? It's from another character that I still don't understand. Who she is in the main Adventure Time universe. Who is her version of the main universe, but okay. And he has a dream of having his own business, to be able to make their sweets and tell stories with them. And then you can't because his dream is a bit limited. He has to use the bakery, the godmother who works for it. And then the Marshal Lee of that world didn't know. He's filthy, so they started going out on Fionna's account, right? Because they were both at Fionna's house and ended up getting to know each other. And there they started to leave. Marshal Lee tried to help him. With his dream, it didn't work out. And then he took Chiclete to meet your mother at a party she was having, right? Because for him to help Chiclete, he had to go back for the family business. But he didn't want to. He didn't want to work with his mother. And then Gary said, "No, bro, leave your mom." He said a lot to his mother. He said, "No, you have to follow your dream. I don't know what." And at the end they kiss, and then they went and, right? And then they've been together until now, right? So far it hasn't shown, it's shown their kiss, hasn't it? And that's Gary, the second version of Princess Jujube, that we saw in the Fionna and Cake special. Let's go to the third version of Princess Jujube, that we saw in Adventure Time. Who is Princess Jujube out of her mind, yes. This version is a little crazy, shall we say? We'd never seen Jujubeti before. In fact, I think we did see it in Adventure Time, when the garbage was on her body. But anyway, this Princess Jujube, her hair is all up like this, stretched out. And she's addicted to princes. She always captures the icy Simon of that world of hers. The Ice King there, so much so that Simon even found it strange. As the Ice King of that universe, they ended up in... It wasn't like that. He wasn't crazy. What did he do? He managed to take his madness and throw it on the jujube track, which means she was crazy. She was the one who kept after the guys, kept after him, arrested him. And she's cool, like, her eyes are different. She's got sharp little teeth, her hair's all up in the air, and she doesn't hit the ball very well. And she sang a song, so much so that this song, the people who saw it dubbed were like, that's not yet the official dubbing within HBO. In fact, it's there, but there are people who can't access it. I was able to access it. I'm exclusive. I don't know how, but I was able to access it because of the videos here on the channel. I have to use the Wave app. And then, the dubbed song wasn't very good. Some people didn't like it, but basically, they had to bring the same energy as the English jujube track, this crazy jujube track. Pro-Portuguese, man, so I think she had to be a bit crazy in the head, normal.
Então,
So she tried to take the two Simons and was going to throw them into a machine where she was going to kill them. So Fionna and Kate go there to help them. Go there, finish them both off. Then Fionna feels bad about it. And then, because Fionna was a mistake until that moment, when she put her hand on the crown forgave the magic, where it made the madness that the Ice King threw on the jujube runway come out of it. And then, she's back to normal, and that same jujube track, she appears with the same jujube track that we know, the same thing, like, the face is the same, man, the same little thing. She said that she spent, if I'm not mistaken, 100 years like that, because of Simon, who put the curse of madness on her. And then she said she was going to start her kingdom from scratch. And the next jujube runway we know is Bonnie from Marceline's Vampire King universe, who has the crown. This jujube runway, it's a bit more black. I liked it a lot. She didn't have big hair like those of us who have seen the business. She had big spiky hair. The jujube runway we know has giant hair like that. Sometimes it makes your head spin. In this case, this jujube runway, she has her hair cut like this, right? A little upwards. And she wears an eye patch. She's a bit more... She thinks that because of the situation in that world, she had to be a little more drastic, a little meaner. Because the jujube track, it's already thick-skinned, like, it's all sweet and stuff, but it's a bit, you know, evil there. I'm saying that we know her, but who's to say it's her? That we see her put the knife to Simon's neck and say, "How do you know, Marceline?" And then she cut off half the... and she was going to finish him off, man. She was going to finish him off. And in this universe, this jujube track, we see that it doesn't have the kingdom of candy. It drives the car. And her team is a little different. It's Rinho's father from that world. It's the magician hunter. What else? And she doesn't know Finn there. Finn's father probably didn't have him either because of the reaction he had when he saw baby Finn, but he identified with him and liked him. But back to her, in that world, she has feelings for Marceline. We see that at the end of the episode. They are falling, and something else. I don't know if there will be a second season, but we don't see what happens after that. After that little fall of hers, they're falling off the cliff there. Whether they died, whether they stayed together, whether Marceline betrayed the Vampire King, I don't know. But until that moment, it seemed that even if Marceline didn't have Simon, it seems that the jujube runway and they had something small. Bonnie had it out with Marceline, but it didn't go any further. But she has feelings for Marceline, just like the other jujube lane does too. So, I was talking about the 4, right? Which is the jujube track of the main universe. Gary, from Fionna and Kiki's world. The crazy jujube track. And the jujube runway with the black hair, you know, short hair. You can't do it. So there were 4 jujube tracks that we saw. Well guys, you've just seen a cut here on the channel. If you want to see the whole video will be here below, or the live stream will be here below, since this video may have been cut from a live stream. So let's get together.